I actually want to ask you guys, actually, I know it might be a bit off topic, but it's like, what's the plan now with the striker situation? Or are we getting too giddy, too carried away with ourselves because Højlund's 4-in-4 for the first time? He's the youngest player to do that at United.
I still think the club should get one.
Oh no, get a striker. But I'm saying what?
But
get a starter where Højlund does the original plan. Get a starter.
Because if you want United to be, let's say the United of old, or like the next generation of United, you don't need just one striker who's a starter, one who's a backup. You want players who are potentially both starters. Like back in the good old days, there was multiple strikers who could start. You had 4 strikers who could start for the club. You're like Scholl, Cole, Sheringham, York. They're all fantastic forwards. Why would we then limit ourselves to one at the moment?
But not one. I'm just saying the one that comes in. What type should he be? You're saying like starter, but
I think he should be a starter and let them battle it out. If it's a starter but Højlund keeps playing well, fine. Bench the other guy who should be a starter, and if he doesn't play well, bench Højlund.
It's an interesting one though, because like when we did sign Højlund, I don't think a lot of people. It was partly because people hadn't seen much of him. But even through his dry patches, I think he's a lot further forward than people thought. Like even though there was the goal issues, United just overall were playing poorly.
Yeah, you could still see he had something.
So I think he's further forward. I think it's a conversation to have, to be fair, whether you do just make him the main striker, get a backup, which could be an option. But I think
because budget-wise, it changes what you do.
That's true.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because if we're going to say we need to get a proper top-notch striker, we've literally just spent 65 million. That is big money, like on Højlund with add-ons. And if you want to go and get another top-notch striker, you're looking at another 60-odd million again, 50-odd million again. Or do you get, what I was saying is like what we need is like I know they're not 10 a penny, but we need like a Julian Alvarez type. Like just that profile that's like, he might be 17 million, ready to go to the next step, but he's handy now. And can come in and out, can play a couple of positions maybe.
That's the main
thing. Do you know what I mean?
And
Højlund can be the main guy. Because I just think if we get a main guy, I'm not against it because you're right. You're right, then like we need best in class, we need top level. I want it all, 100%. And we shouldn't forget that he's proper young, Højlund.
He can't
do you know what I mean? He's only just turned 21 the other day. Yeah, so it's like, if we put too much faith in him and go, don't worry, we can just go and get a bloody Neil Maupay type striker to sit there just and get, no. Like, we have to still get someone proper, but just with where we're going to be with FFP, the amount of money we've got to spend, and we've got to get this summer right, it's just interesting to just think ahead, which the question said, is this 2024 sort of the revival for Ten Hag? I was just thinking of different things that are part of that, what that means.
Yeah.
And I think when we get to the summer, there's an interesting conversation of what type of... Is he going to go, no, my original plan was for Rasmus, was to be an understudy to someone. Just because he's had a good season in the end, I'm not going to move from that. He might do that. Or he might say, actually, like what you're saying, Kane, like, he showed us he's further ahead than we probably thought. Yeah. Let's spend the money elsewhere.
It's interesting as well, because like recent reports have came out and kind of said that United are planning to target players in like the last years of their contract. And like, even though they've sorted kind of some stuff out in January with loans and probably selling on Sancho and Van der Beek at the end of the season, they're still probably on that tightrope. So it probably would be a safer decision to kind of go for, because I wouldn't say, even though the goal scoring issues, I wouldn't say that a number 9 is our biggest priority, because we haven't scored goals because we can't control the games, because Kobe only came in November and we didn't really have anyone else who could kind of slow the game down in the middle. So I think you need someone to be kind of next to him, because you can't expect Manu next season and this season to play like 50, if we're in Europe, 50, 60 games, like you can't. So you need someone, because you can't just have him coming out.
But we are going to have to get a striker though, because Martial's going to go.
Yeah, we can't.
There is none. We don't have a. It's a massive problem that Højlund's the only striker. Rashford, let's be honest, it doesn't count up front. He can fill in there, here or there. He
can be a decent third option or plan C if needed.
Literally
he shouldn't be
and we should never
B.
really see him up front, because you know what I mean, unless he absolutely has to. So the load on Højlund, when we get to the summer, I don't know, like, it might not be a priority to get the main starting shot, but it's a priority to definitely get one. You have to get one, because Højlund can't be the only one.
It's interesting as well, like our academy always brings out wingers, but no striker. The last two, I think Elanga played striker, but he's a winger.
Yeah.
And Forson coming through now, he's came on a couple of times up front. He's a winger. It's like Joe Hugel is on loan now, I think, but like he's not ready for that level.
No,
like
it's not the level.
it's weird. Not many strikers in the last few years.
Bring back James Wilson, mate. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a throwback.
James
A
Wilson.
little bit, yeah.
What else in 2024 could help this be the revival? Because obviously we've got to talk about Ineos and how we attack the summer. You know, a lot of how our squad looks next season is going to depend on what we can and can't do. Do we get into Europe or not? What type of Europe is it? The types of players we sell. I've been reading reports Ineos want to really get into that, like you guys have been saying. What else do you think is going to be a key factor?
Selling players is going to be massive. I'd love it if we could just sell someone for more than fucking what we got for David Beckham in 2003.
Oh my
or
days.
2004. Like, I think Dan James is like our 5th highest sell.
Insane, bro.
If we can get that sorted, and then that just helps you build a team by bringing players in, because you can actually just spend that extra 5 million or be a bit smarter with your money coming in, so then it kind of works both ways. But if we can start selling well, like, because there's good players.
Who's the players up for sale for you that can fetch good money?
Maguire, this is a test as well, I'd say. With Maguire, it's a test because we've had so many times where you go, this player needs to be sold, and they have a bit of a revamp and they're looking good. And then you don't sell them because you're like, oh, they're getting better for us. And then you lose all their value, because that's the season which you should sell Maguire is now, because he'll probably be playing a lot more over the next couple of months. Hopefully plays well. And then teams like potentially West Ham come back in, and they'll be willing to spend the extra money because they've seen, oh, this guy's back playing well. If you can sell and like have that temperament to go, okay, right, he's playing well, but we know kind of where we want to go, and we'll stick with that rather than kind of reacting to form. I think if we can do that, McTominay as well is a potential one. There's probably, whether you can get Anthony, kind of, whether offers come in like this. There's a lot of players.
He's available, mate. I don't know. There's a take him for what money, but he's a sellable asset. Yeah.
There needs to be so much more ruthless, the club. Like you said, you need to sell when stocks are high. Kind of the point, like, get rid of McTominay while a club would still probably pay 25 million for him. Maybe get rid of Maguire, 25, 30 million there. Anthony, maybe, can't say is a bit of a lost cause. But he could have a bit of a rival, you never know. Like you've seen Richarlison at Spurs. Yeah. He's actually, after being what many would say just a complete failure at Spurs, 100%. He's actually doing pretty decent right now. Yeah. So you never know. But again, that's what the club will probably be telling themselves the entire time. Like, so with Ten Hag, the club keeping him Ten Hag, there was a report saying that United have looked at what Arsenal did with Arteta, sticking by him despite the fact that they finished like 8th and then 5th. And they're now, back to back, at least somewhat challenging for titles. But there needs to be a certain point where the club stops going, oh, he could do this, he could do that, because it's not like a lot of these players are irreplaceable. You can get rid of Wan-Bissaka for maybe 20 million and bring in another player who would probably do just as good a job as him overall, playing as a person behind Dalot, or even getting rid of him, moving Dalot to a more secondary role and getting a better fullback. You could go, oh yeah, but Wan-Bissaka can do this. It's like, but other people can as well. Yeah. There's so many players in the squad that United seem to act as if they were replaceable when they really aren't.
Well, with that then, what about some of the big uns then? So let's just get to it. Bruno and Rashford. Well,
Ten Hag said the other day, didn't he? He was like, we need to sell good players. And when he was talking about how he couldn't get the January striker, he was like, with FFP, you have to sell good players. So it isn't going to just be those kind of like outcasts in the squad. There could be big exits. I don't see either of them going though. Like, maybe the thing is with Bruno as well, like maybe in a couple years I can imagine it, because then he'll be kind of like approaching the end of his prime, probably the last kind of time you can get like a decent sized fee for him. But I don't think either of those are going to be off.
Bruno can't go yet. Like as much as you try and stay.
People disagree with you.
So, I know.
It's a touchy subject online.
But I feel like it's not even necessarily like the on-field stuff. I think also Bruno's being a bit hampered at the moment. This is a separate thing, but I feel Bruno's being a bit hampered at the moment by how United play. He's a bit further back, and it seems he's always being told, progress wide. So rather than he's got high creative numbers, Højlund still wasn't scoring. It's because, I don't know, I feel like he's being hampered a little bit. I quite enjoyed it when he had his whole kind of gung-ho hero ball era, although that was very unsustainable. I think he's so good for the club.
Yeah, it's strange though, because like him and Højlund haven't picked up, like, I wouldn't say them two have picked up a like relationship on the pitch at all.
No,
really. Like, and like you said, it's probably because he's been it seems like he's picking up the ball and always looking through for Rashford, Garnacho, Anthony.
The instructions seem to have changed.
It
I
is
would like
quite
to
wide.
go back a little bit to more what it was before, with Bruno being more direct, because he feels a lot more indirectly involved in the play now, as opposed to before when kind of everything was around him and he was the one who was just pushing forwards.
It is hard with Bruno, isn't it? Because like his best seasons have come where it's all built around him, but then now he's 28 or 29?
29.
29
Yeah,
now. Like
30.
it is like Ineos coming in, like you say. Like, are they going to want to build everything around that? But I think Bruno can play. I think he showed it last season. He can play well, not being the complete main man. But it's a decision to make, because if you are Sir Jim Ratcliffe and you're going, we're a bit tight on FFP now, and then that like a Saudi club, like it was reported the other day, like a Saudi club come in for 100+ million.
Oh, I can't say no to that.
Yeah, it could be kind of something that forces their hand a little bit. But then Bruno also might not. He seems like he loves United.
That's the thing. I can't see Bruno. Bruno don't want to go anywhere.
And that's to a certain extent kind of invaluable to the club. A player who they genuinely just want to stay here and they want to be part of the club more than anything else. You can't really buy that.